Big bitch energy.
Big bitch energy.
Hey. What's up? This is the Big Bitch Energy Podcast with me, Sharron Palm.
And Sue's Ballout.
From Lincoln Lodge.
Hey.
Yeah, here we are, Suze and myself, about to talk about some heavy stuff. No pun intended. But the pun was intended
Yes.
because Big Bitch Energy is us talking about being fat bitches.
Yeah.
And all of the complexities behind body image, diet culture, how people just move about differently depending on what they look like, how culture influences how we move about in our bodies, literally everything. If you have skin, you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was so beautifully said. I was like, no, you just took the words right out of my mouth. Like, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Suze, you're a comedian, and I myself am also a comedian. And we met one fateful day outside of an open mic.
Your open mic.
My open mic.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yes, at the infamous Hamburger Mary's.
Yeah. But yes, that was what was that? 2015.
2016.
Okay.
No, I moved here in 2016, so
Yeah.
it's probably like end of 2016 to 2017, maybe.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Time after 20. It still feels like 2016 was last year to me. So.
Oh my God.
It's incredible.
COVID ruined time for me. I don't know
Ruined time for me too.
when anything. Yeah.
No.
That feels like maybe 10 years ago now.
Every day I wake up and I'm like, but yes, we met.
Yeah.
And I think throughout our whole friendship, one thing we've always related on is just
No, I'm sorry.
feeling weird.
I
about
do
our body stuff. Yes.
No, so sorry to cut you off. I cornered Sharron. This is
you
what
did.
this is how I like to tell the story. Is I cornered you and made you talk to me until 2 a.m.
But you didn't
at
make
7-Eleven. I think we were like outside. It's like the mic finished. Like
There was
you're like,
nowhere
I'm
to
gonna go
go.
get like a pack of smokes, and
Yeah.
that we went to 7-Eleven, and you were like, I could have left at any time. I was like, I don't think so.
Listen, I wish more people would just walk up to I wish more people would walk up to other people and just announce that they would like friendship.
Right.
I guess the way that you did it was cool. But you were just like, hey, you want to be friends? I liked that. It was direct.
Yeah.
And I did want to be your friend.
You were so cool. I mean, you are cool.
Well, yeah, you were so cool.
You were so cool. But like you definitely ran a fantastic mic. And,
Well, thank you.
But like you were saying, it definitely we found so many similarities in our life that just we were like, oh my God.
That largely come from how we feel in our bodies, right? And I mean, we both have our reasons, right? So, Suze, what is your fat origin story?
Oh my God. Like the moment that I realized, like, you're fat.
You're fat. Yeah.
I honestly, it was probably I used to play soccer.
Yes.
The Kickin' Cougars was our. Don't laugh at that beautiful name. But I played for the Kickin' Cougars, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we got like a training bra." I'm like, I have a bra. Like that's it. I went straight to bra. I didn't have that like in between phase, like. So that's when I really realized I was like puberty kind of hit hard for me, and I was like, oh,
But
I'm
also,
different.
What are we training titties to do?
I honestly, I feel like training bras were just to hide the nipples that you were forming.
But the training is such a strange word for it. Beginner bra.
I think they should have just called it a bralette. Just call it what it is.
I mean, and they still have those.
Yeah, but that's what a training bra.
But that's how you
looked
knew
like.
that your body was different than everyone else's around you. It was like your first sign was like you had tickle bitties.
Yeah,
and no one else did.
Exactly. I had the underwire uncomfortable bra.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, because they don't make. At least at that time, we weren't making big bras for big titted young girls. Right? You couldn't go into like the junior section anywhere and just find like a cute bra that held like double D's on a 9-year-old. You know, like it just wasn't well.
I mean, like my mom like loved Macy's and loved Macy's. Like, so we would always go to the Macy's like women's section, and that's where I'd find my stuff, or JCPenney.
Right. And I think, so you realized that you were fat because of your boobs.
Yeah.
And I realized it I guess, because, well, my body started changing right around the time that I lived with my grandparents in Arkansas, and they were very much like, you can't go to bed or do anything until your food is done. And they made potatoes and meat, like heavy stuff. And
that Midwest meal.
Well, this was Arkansas.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. That's still white, though.
Sure. Even more so, actually. And yeah, they were very much like, there were nights where we sitting up until almost 1 a.m. She'd be like, eat your fucking steak. Yeah.
1 a.m?
Oh, for sure.
Oh my God.
But we couldn't like stay up late and watch Cartoon Network sometimes. Like, chill out, Grandma. Anyway, we had to eat all our food, and I have siblings, right? And one of my siblings was there with me as well, and she had a really hard time eating like that amount of meat and potatoes every single day. And she would throw up sometimes, and then she'd get yelled at for it. And so she'd sneak her food in a napkin and give it to me under the table, and I started eating her food for her. And then and at first I didn't feel good. I mean, I felt like shit for a very long time. And then at a certain point, my body just got accustomed to like eating more food. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's like, you don't need a second helping of those potatoes. Oh,
yeah.
Maybe we should take a longer walk instead of watching this movie. Or, you know, it was like people were always trying to be sneaky about me exercising or trying to find like sneaky roundabout ways to get me to like do an activity. And I'm like, I'm not like bed bound. Like, I'd like to do stuff.
No, 100%. But they were like, do it because you're fat.
Do it because you're fat.
Like, you're not. Yeah. No, that's exactly how I grew up too. Like, my parents put me in a training with like varsity soccer girls, and they were like they were varsity soccer, and I was this chubby white Arab girl that like was scared of the world. Like, I think that it was an insane expectation to have. I feel like I did get really strong. I did have a crazy strong core at like a very young age, which is hilarious to me. But I think it definitely made me not want to work out for a very long time. Like, I really was like, I don't want to go to the gym. That's traumatizing now.
Right. I played softball and I played basketball. And I played basketball when I was living with my grandparents too. And my grandpa would take me to practices early and make me do like sprints because he said I had to like catch up with everyone else. But then everyone else would get there to practice and I'd be worn out already.
Right.
Which made it even more embarrassing. You know what I mean? And
no, 100%.
And I was like too like ashamed to tell anyone like, oh yeah, he makes me run before you all get here. Like, I already felt ostracized being around a bunch of kids who are already thinner than me, doing an activity where I know I'm the slowest. You know what I mean? And then he made it so I was even slower, and it just made it like more obvious. It was almost like he made me a spectacle, but he thought that he was like disciplining me or something.
It's so funny that like, I don't know, my family definitely thought like being meaner would help me like snap out of like being fat.
No, my parents were my first bullies, dude.
They were my first bullies too.
Yeah, they're your first bullies, man.
100%.
That's how people identify it at school. You're like, yeah, that's what my parents do. I'm so glad we can laugh about it.
Well, my mom called me worse, bitch. So
yeah, let's make it a competition. Well, that's another similarity of our Sue's, is that our relationships with our mothers are pretty similar, especially when it comes to like weight. But there are some differences. You know, I look so much like my grandmother, not the one I lived with. The other one. And I was like, I forgot how many grandparents people typically have. And apparently I'm her spitting image. Like, we are just the same. I never met her in real life because she passed away before I was born, but we are twins. And so even seeing pictures of her as like a 40-something year old woman, because she passed away when she was 50, unfortunately, I'm like, oh, that's like what I'm going to look like. Okay, cool. Oops. Yeah.
No, I look just like my dad's grandma, who I didn't particularly like. But I think also, like, it was one of those things where it's like, you look like her because you're fat. Like, people will be like, you look like Melissa McCarthy. I'm like, no, I don't.
Oh, my God.
No, I don't look like Melissa McCarthy. I do comedy. So you're like, oh, she's a hilarious fat comedian.
She's a funny fat chick. Yeah.
But, like, I mean, not as much anymore. She's definitely she, we're just like I feel like I should have said like plus size lady. She's a plus size lady.
Well, stupid.
I mean, fat isn't bad either.
No, we've talked about this. Not always because of how other people react to it. Because you're like, I'm fat. And then people are like, oh my God.
You're
said it out loud.
You're not fat.
You're not fat. You're not. Oh, I hate that. People who love you and care about you, and they're your homies, and they'll look at you when you're having a bad day and you're like, I feel fat or whatever. They're like, you're not fat. And I'm like, you dumb idiot. Yes, I am. Why are you talking down to me? Like, I don't know what, like, it's okay to agree with what I'm saying. Like, physically, yes, I am. I got the jelly. It's
not an insult.
And Beyonce warned us when we were young, people weren't going to be ready for the jelly. They weren't going to be ready for it. You're not ready for it.
We're derailed. Oh, I look like my grandma. No.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I was just going to say that my mom treated me a little differently when it came to weight because she was so like, oh, my God, you look just like my mom. And, but then I'd watch her like restrict what my sister ate. Do you know what I'm saying? But then I'd like have a bowl of chips and then she'd be like, really? She'd always give me like weird looks, like sympathetic, sad puppy looks. Or she would try to do things like she would portion out. She's like, well, the back of the bag says you can have 16 chips. Or you can have one half of this cupcake. You know what I mean? Then she'd try to like measure it out. But then it was just like, or she would do something on the flip where she thought she was being like super nice about it. And she'd like take my pants and then she'd put both her legs in one pant leg and then be like, look at me. And I'm like,
oh my God.
This isn't fun for me. Doesn't make
I don't
me
know.
feel very good.
I don't know about you, but like when my family made fun of me in those kind of ways, they'd be like, well, and I'd get offended. They'd be like, why can't you take a joke? Why do you take things so personally?
So they were gaslighting you.
They just gaslit you. They just like, I don't know. My family did that all the time. I remember this is just the food thing. Like I remember like being in the kitchen and my parents would be in the living room and they'd be like, we hear you eating in there. It's like, yeah, I'm in the fucking kitchen. I'm going to be snacking on some crackers.
I hear you eating in there.
It's just like everything was
Get back
like,
downstairs. Get back to the basement.
Like, yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, I'll never forget when I lived with my aunt and uncle and my grandparents came to visit and everyone was eating and everyone was having a good day. And my grandpa tells my sister to sit on his lap and then tells my cousin to sit on his lap, which is so weird. But then me and my other cousin were like, oh, is it our turn? I don't know. And we were young, right? And he was like, oh, well, you guys can't sit on my lap. You'll probably hurt my knees. And we were like, what? And my cousin was very much like you, Suze. Like she just had huge. I mean, she had a lot of chest going on, and people would just be like, yeah, I lose weight. And she's like, how can I lose this?
No, 100%.
How do you do that? But, and then we moved past it, right? Like whatever. And then we're all eating dinner and it was like my aunt made salmon and she made salad and, she always made awesome, healthy food, I think. And, I'd actually lost so much weight living with them just naturally because she was just cooking all my meals. And I ate the same thing as everyone else. That's a big one. But I went to get, more potatoes. And then he was like, Sharron, put those down. You really want to ruin all the weight you lost? Oh my God. And then I was just like, and then nobody said anything.
Yeah.
Like nobody said anything. And I just remember my face getting hot and red, and like no one was looking at me, no one was coming to my defense. And I just remember I just like got up quietly and I just like ran upstairs and I just like sobbed.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, but those are the things that like shape how we move about. You get older and you can choose better people to be around. You have the choice.
100%. But
like things like that just stick with you. Even sometimes now I like go to eat something and then I just hear that. And I'm like, no, you're hungry.
Yeah.
Eat.
Yeah. sometimes I say things too, and my friend Shay is like, hey, Suze, like, you don't have to do that anymore. Like, you're safe now. Like, you don't have to, like, live in that fear anymore. And that's, like, very comforting, because it's like, I think that until you kind of like start to heal from that kind of trauma, you're just going to kind of relive it over and over, and it's going to come up over again in your older years, and you're just going to like see the cycle repeat until you're like, oh wait, like it starts with me. This starts with me. Like, yes, all of those things happened when I was younger, but now I have, is the word like autonomy? I have the
well, you have the agency.
I have the agency to
better
make
decisions.
Yes, exactly.
For yourself, not because someone's telling you to make those. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting everything. Not because other people are telling you to make the decisions, but because you're like, this is coming from my well of knowledge.
100%. I think that something that we've talked about before too is like our bodies are going to fluctuate. Like, we're just going to fluctuate. Like, some days I'm going to eat a lot and other days I'm not going to. Did you know that you need to eat more calories when you're on your period? You eat 200 to 300 more calories when you have your period than just like on regular days. So if you feel like you're like, oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. Yeah, it's because your body wants more food. So listen to your body. Listen to what your body needs. I've done every single diet ever. South Beach, Atkins, like those old school diets.
That's something else we've touched on too, right? I think one of the earliest jokes I wrote was about how my dad got me Nutrisystem.
That's my favorite joke.
Well,
I was thinking about the other day because he wanted you to have Nutrisystem. I'm not going to explain your joke. I'm not going to explain your joke. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Fine.
But please tell it if you can.
No, well, he bought me Nutrisystem as a birthday present, and I mean, just insane. And I'm like, why did you get this for me?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you know, you don't ever have boyfriends. You know, don't bring any guys home. You know, and maybe it's just time that we work on you losing some weight so you can feel more confident. And I had never gone to my dad and said, Dad, I feel so insecure about my weight. You know, I definitely had my moments, but, you know, ultimately I felt like I was pretty comfy in my skin, all things considered, when I was a teenager. And so it just was even more insulting. I was like, you just like put this on me.
Right.
You know,
and Nutrisystem was not cheap, by the way.
Oh
that
my
shit
God.
was expensive for plastic food.
You know what? Joke's on him, okay? Because he had to throw so much of that food out. After like a couple weeks, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Even the snacks. I mean, this was like 14, 15 years, or 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was not, the food was not yummy. And the thing that made it worse, when I was like saying earlier, like when I lived with my aunt and uncle, we all ate the same stuff. I wasn't losing weight because they were making me special food, different from everyone else. You know, he put me in a position where I had to eat not only different food, but very obviously diet food.
Yes. No, 100%.
It's not inconspicuous.
I'm sorry, but the honey mustard pretzels slapped.
I don't.
They were really good, but the pizza, bullshit.
The pizza was bullshit.
Was bullshit. Like, I would have rather had gotten like a Lunchables pack with that pizza than the shit that they gave us in Nutrisystem.
You guys had Lunchables?
Not all the time. The nacho ones were the only ones that my mom let me get.
So we always bought cracker stackers because we were really poor.
You guys had Lunchables?
Yeah, you remember the bacon ones? But yeah, also, but yeah, it was just alienating.
But he wanted you.
He wanted me to. Yeah, it was. He wanted it to look different. Like he wanted it to be obvious. It was almost like shaming me into losing weight. You know what I mean? It's like, and like we lived with my dad's girlfriend and her two daughters and my sister, who were all thinner than me. And it was just like, it just sucked. And not only that, but it was almost like he'd come home with like KFC or pizza and then just be like, oh yeah, dig in, guys. And then he'd be like, oh, Sharron, your thing's in the freezer. He didn't even make it for me. Like I had to prepare it myself, you know?
No, are you?
Yeah. Everyone be cracking open sodas and chowing down on pizza. And I'd be like, I'm going to enjoy my freaking spaghetti and one meatball.
No.
Like, it's like 3 bites. And then it made me so mad, Suze, that because I could drive at this time, I would go out middle of the night, go through a drive-through, and I'd just eat the fuck. I would eat the fuck out of whatever I wanted. So it was almost like I was like rebelling against it. Like, well, I'm going to find a way to eat what I want anyway.
Well, that was the thing that we can control.
Yes.
Like, I felt like I couldn't control a lot of aspects of my life, but what I could was what I was able to put in my mouth. But like candy and like all the sugar.
Yeah.
All the sugar.
Right. And that's something else too, is like, I know we talked a little bit about our backgrounds, which I think is really cool that we come from different family upbringings, but also not so different. But I know, like, I come from dysfunction, drug addiction, all these super fun things. And it just meant that we didn't have access to any food at any time. Oftentimes we just had what we could get at the food stamp place. You like walking to this like little place, they try to make it look like a grocery store, or like food drives, people dropping food off, Catholic charities. Oh my God. Like you just took what you could get a lot of times, or you'd eat lunch at school. And school lunches were not
nutritious.
They were not shit at all. And so, yeah, I mean, I remember there was probably a year where we had Wendy's almost every day because we lived right next to a Wendy's. Like, it was right next to our apartment complex. And it was like, here's $5, just go get what you want, because it was easy.
No, 100%. I kind of had like a little bit of the opposite, where my mom was like an amazing cook. She was amazing, but I think that the dysfunction of my family really took an effect on me, and also just like food was a reward for a lot of things.
Yes, we talked about that too. Yes. I know. Yeah, for us too. It was like the best they could do sometimes was a candy bar as like a good thing of the day.
Right.
So, but then to punish me, to restrict my food, I mean, it's so messed up. It's like you're giving it to me to be like, hey, good job, but then you're taking it away. Right. Because I'm doing a bad job? I don't get it.
No, 100%.
And it really does create like an unhealthy relationship with food. And I think for the longest time, there was so much, like as I got older, there were so many difficult things in my life, so many hardships that I had to put all my focus and attention into, that I couldn't think about eating, healthy food,
Well, also I found out recently that people with ADHD, and I think we both have ADHD, like consistency in their food. So like that's why I lean a lot towards processed food, because it's consistent. Like a bag of chips is always going to be the same, most likely, than like fruit, like blueberries.
That's so
if you have
true.
And that happened to me recently. Like I bought one of those like already cut. I know. Okay, I bought an already cut watermelon. I don't want to fucking do it myself. Sometimes my friends are like, "That was your first mistake." I'm like,
no,
shut up.
No.
But
I disagree.
I had like a bad one, and now when I look at the fruit, I'm like, I don't want it, because I don't know if it's gonna be good. But I do want these cupcakes.
Yes,
those will be great.
Well, also processed food lasts longer.
No, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that also kind of ties into like how your mental health ties into your relationship with food and how you take care of yourself. And I think something really cool that you said the other day was, you were like, a fat person who works out every single day is probably going to live longer than like a thin person who never ever exercises.
Yeah.
Because their cardiovascular health is going to be different.
Exactly.
And I mean, neither of us are doctors. Wait, right?
No,
you're not a doctor,
but
right?
but I watch a lot of Instagram, and that was
same difference.
I just want to say along those lines is like, a lot of the times my family would be like, we just want you to be healthy, and you need to lose weight. And I'd be like, here are my blood results. Here are my blood tests. Everything's good. So why do I need to lose weight again? What's the reason for that? And sometimes I'm like, either you don't like that I'm happy in my own body.
Yeah.
Or, like I had to accept accept who I was.
But that is so true though, right? Because it's why it pisses people off. And it's like something that we talked about before we even started doing this is we were, there's that fear because as soon as a fat person does anything on the internet where they're happy or doing their thing or whatever, there's always someone who's like, they're promoting obesity. And I'm like, I'm just like literally existing and I'm just like happy and I'm not letting my weight dictate how I live my life. But you were taught to feel ashamed if you gained any weight. We were taught 100%. That fat has a negative connotation. It's an insult. Fat people aren't sexually desirable. They're not attractive. If you see someone dating a fat person, that means they have no other options, blah, blah, blah. And way more so for women 100%. And non-men in general.
I hate to use her as an example, but Lizzo.
Yeah.
Like, she is now in a relationship, and I remember reading comments to one of her videos about her finding love. Like, she was like talking about her partner, and she was like, it took me a really long time to get to a point where I was ready to let him in. She said something along those lines. And then the comments were like, no, he's with you because you have money now. No, you are fat. Why would he ever want anyone like, it was like the comment section did not pass the vibe check.
But then didn't someone come out and they were like, I want to see you perform night after night on tour, dancing, singing, playing the flute.
Twerking while playing the flute.
Yeah. The amount of stamina it takes to just tour in general, even without all that extra stuff. And it's like, what?
Yeah. You just don't like seeing successful
people.
You just
don't like seeing successful people who are successful in the body that you thought that you were going to be like condemned for.
Exactly.
And, not everyone can help it, right? And which is a really hard thing for me in my life has been, well, do I want to lose weight? Because then it's like I didn't feel comfortable in my skin before. And then you do all this work to feel comfortable in your skin. And like I've been losing weight a little bit like the last few months because my doctor said it might help with a different health condition that has nothing to do with me being overweight, but it has everything to do with my hormones, right? And that losing weight might provide me some relief. But also this condition makes it really hard to lose weight. So it's like a catch-22 in a way. But I almost, every time that I see the number on the scale go down, I almost feel like sad or like a fraud, where I just like, I'm like, God, how can I even be talking? Most of my comedy is about living life in a fat body and just like, how can I advocate for being comfortable in your skin, but now I have the audacity to lose weight. But then I'm like, no, that's not what it's about. But it's just like,
no,
because of how other people react to you when you lose weight.
Right.
Oh my God, you look so great. Oh my God, you must be so happy. And I'm like, I was happy and I looked great before.
Right.
I don't even see weight on you.
Right.
What? What did that mean?
Well, I think that goes back to just like, it just goes to doing it for you. You're not doing it for other people. You're not doing it for the comments. You're not you're doing that for yourself, and it doesn't really matter.
I don't owe anyone an explanation.
You don't owe anyone an explanation. And that's why I really wanted to do this in the first place. And
yes.
I said this a little bit before, but I was just like, I really want people to know that your body's going to fluctuate throughout your life. And sometimes you're going to lose weight and sometimes you're going to gain weight, and that's okay. And if you're skinny again, that doesn't mean that we're going to stop this podcast. You still have a body. You're still a human with a body.
I don't know why that made me laugh. I just like, yeah.
That's, yeah. Where is she?
Welcome to the Big Ghost Energy Podcast. We're not talking about ghosts. I just am one now. Yeah. No, you're right. And that's something else that it's not just about big bitch energy in the sense of like we're in a bigger body. It's also just like big bitch energy in the way that you don't care what other people think. Like I have thin friends who obsess over how they look. No one is safe from feeling any type of way about their bodies.
I think that I could safely say both parties hate to shop. And what I mean by both parties, I mean people who are not fat and people who are. Like, you know, everyone has a problem looking for a pair of pants that fit them correctly. Like, jeans are mass made. They're not made for you. They're made to fit a majority, you know. I know that I could like walk into a store and I know immediately within maybe 3 seconds if I'm gonna find anything. I know immediately. I am not like a casual shopper, just because growing up shopping was traumatic.
Well, I was gonna say, because we're only a few years apart. Where did you have to shop when you were younger? So, like, where'd they take you?
I was like a young girl shopping at Limited Too, which was for teens and preteens. Burlington Coat Factory, sometimes Ross or Marshall's. Like, I would find things in the teenager section. I was mostly like, I was like 9 shopping for teenager clothes because I was on the chunky side.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, I look at pictures now and I'm like, I was not that fat. I just think that my parents were trying to dress me like I wasn't fat.
Isn't it crazy though too? It's almost like dysphoric in a way, because you saw your body so much differently at that time, and then you look back and then you're like, but then it's like, I'm like, I don't want to say I wasn't that fat, like meaning that if I was more fat that would be a problem either, because it wouldn't have been.
Right.
But it's just, they told you that it was this huge issue, but you're like, I looked like a healthy kid.
Yeah.
If I saw a kid that looked like this walking down the street, I wouldn't be like, whoa.
No, 100%.
You know, someone called their parents, right? I mean, I was taken to Dress Barn a few times.
Your grandma used to take you to Dress Barn, right?
Yeah, because they had the elastic band on the pants. And I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine that there weren't other places she could have taken me, but that's like what she knew. And also like Lane Bryant at that time. Yeah, and this was also like right before the Torrid days, which I definitely have thoughts about that.
I mean, honestly, I am only in Torrid if they have a good sale.
Yeah, that shit is so expensive.
So expensive.
And it's not always cute. You know what I mean?
It's not the best material either. Like,
I'm not trying to, because I do own some articles of clothing from Torrid, but like their jeans, dope. But you know what? I didn't buy their jeans directly from them. I got them from a person on a Buy Nothing Logan Square page. Yeah, baby.
That's
thrift.
The most Logan Square thing you could have ever said.
Recycle your clothing. Big bitch energy about recycling. But yeah, went to Dress Barn, went to Lane Bryant. Sometimes Old Navy.
Old Navy is still good to me.
Old Navy is still good, but they also got more expansive. I remember there was a time where I could like do so much shopping there, and I was like making no money, you know. Anyway, but but yeah, go into those stores or like dollar stores. Okay, like if there was a point, like Family Dollar still sells clothes, but when I was growing up, Family Dollar had a bigger clothing section. Like they had like like in Dollar General too, they had like a legit little clothing area of the store.
Actually.
Yeah. But most of those clothes were bigger. You know what I mean? But then it was like, it just made it obvious that I shopped at different places than everyone else, really. Not just because of the stores themselves, but just because of the money that we had at the time. So, also, the Gap in the back. You know, like when you have a butt and
the Gap never fit me.
The Gap, no, not the Gap store, but
oh my God, the Gap in the back. Yes.
The Gap in the
I'm sorry.
The Gap in the back of the jeans.
I never had a Gap in the back of my jeans. I was always like that fat. Like I didn't need a belt. Like I never.
Well, it was like, so I used to sometimes wear clothes that were too small for me because I so badly wanted to wear the clothes that everyone else was wearing. So I thought that I could just like shove and like squeeze myself into these ill-fitting clothes. But like my nickname, oh my God. When I was like,
I'm like already sad.
No, well, when I was in 3rd grade, they were like Sharron sausages. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I looked like a
kids
sausage
so
popping out of the casing. I mean, kids are mean. They are mean. Yeah, and that sucked. But I kind of just was like, this makes me feel better than wearing like an oversized shirt. But then I hit high
Right.
school, and then for like about a year, my whole style was jeans, baggy jeans, and big hoodies. Like that was my go-to. It's just what I felt like I could just hide.
I have no style, and I still have no style.
That's not true.
I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't. Maybe here's the thing. I never really felt girly with plus size clothing. Like I felt like either a pirate or a floral curtain or a
A pirate.
maroon tablecloth. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Maroon is a huge plus size color to have.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Every plus size girl, every fat girl has a maroon hoodie in her closet.
Oh.
Or a maroon shirt. Go home. The first thing you're going to see is a maroon hoodie in your closet.
I was just, years ago, if you asked me that question or you said, go look at your closet. Yeah, about 5-6 years ago, I had a ton of maroon stuff. No, but you bring up a really good point, though, because you're restricted in how you can shop, which it means then that you're restricted in how you can present.
Yeah.
And you can't present the way you want, so then your sense of self is kind of like, well, where do I fit in? You know, where do I fit in? What image can I really exude if I'm just so limited to like these options? And, when I hit like about 20 or so, and then I was like, okay, I'm getting older now, like I need to dress differently. And like I was an emo kid in high school. This is what an elder emo looks like, America. And okay, like this is it.
Elder emo.
But I thought I couldn't dress like this anymore.
We went to Hot Topic 2 weeks ago, Sharron.
Yeah. I still have the shirt that you bought me from Hot Topic, the Lisa Frank one. Lisa Frank.
That is amazing. I'm so sorry I cut you off, though.
No, it's okay. But I still have that shirt.
Hell yeah.
And I think about you every time I wear it. But I thought for the longest time I had to present a certain way because I was like an adult now. And so I had a lot of boho stuff. I think that's always a very heavy style in like fat lady clothes especially, or fat femme clothes more specifically. Oh my God, the tassels, the shreds, you know what I'm talking about? Or the fringe.
Yeah. Yes.
Why was that on so much stuff? You wash it once, it's ruined.
It's ruined.
It's ruined.
And also the way it accentuates your belly. Yeah. Like, I don't care that I'm showing a belly. It just accentuates it in a way that I'm like, well, now I'm like pulling down my shirt or I'm like adjusting and I'm like, I don't need to be doing all that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it complicates how you want to present. And yeah, I had a ton of maroon stuff. I had a maroon skirt. I had maroon pants. I mean, you're right. That was, I didn't realize it, but you're right. And then I hit a point when I was like, I don't feel excited to wear anything in my closet.
Yeah.
And I had so many things. I was like, I don't really want to wear any of this. And then that's when I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go back to my old ways. And that's when I started, getting band shirts again and wearing crop tops. Yo, the crop top has liberated me.
That's amazing.
I wore crop tops and booty shorts all summer long. I do not care.
No, that's amazing. You look great in them. I am always like, where's the other half of the shirt? I just can't not have the other half of the shirt. Yeah. Well, also, what do they do with them? Where are they going? I am sorry.
I don't think they make the whole shirt and then cut it. They make it and they stop at a certain length.
No, it's terrible.
But you know what? But you're shedding light on the fact that different things, different choices empower different people.
No, 100%.
So I feel 100%. Awesome in a crop top, and you're like, give me a full tee, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly have been going thrift shopping more, which I really did not think I can do as a plus size person. Thank you, because I went with my boyfriend, and he's way more of a browser, which like allows me to like sit in the store a little bit longer, and that's what you have to do when you go thrift shopping, is be there a little bit longer than you want to, and then you kind of start finding things, because then you're like, oh, actually this is kind of cute. And he has like such a good eye for thrift clothes. So this actually, both of these came from the thrift store.
I am and
this is like
I'm insanely proud of you.
This is like a weird shirt that I feel like I just like I wouldn't have worn, you know, like it's a weird cut, but like,
I don't think so. I think it looks good.
I don't know. It's just, I'll show you after we're done. It's a weird sleeve, but I think that like when I was not comfortable in my body, I would have never like been like okay with dressing in this shirt. You know,
Really?
like I feel like the more comfortable I got, the more I was like, all right, now I can expand outside of like the baggy clothes.
And that's like something else that I talk about in my comedy a lot is, you know, all the other reasons there are to lose weight besides just the way you look. And one of those reasons is that you go to any clearance rack or thrift store, you're going to find tons of things in extra small, medium, and large. Sometimes extra large, because extra large is becoming more like just something that you're going to see a lot on every rack. But like if you're any bigger than that, then the clothes that you find that are those sizes are just like outdated. You know, if you're a thrifty person and you're able to like make that stuff work, I love following pages of people who get something, you're like, well, that's so gaudy, and then they like tailor it or cut it in a way and you're like, holy shit, that's cute. And I love that, but that's not always the case. And you're like, this is from Dress Barn, I'm not getting this from the thrift store.
No, exactly. Right. Exactly.
But if you just like, it is annoying because being our sizes, you have to literally flip through everything and you have to sometimes make a judgment call because you can't always try that shit on.
No, 100%. I did that yesterday. I saw something and I was like, no, I know it's small.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to try this on a thrift store.
Like, I know if I want something to be a crop top, if it's like a medium or a large, I know that I can make it work. So cutting off that bottom bit eliminates the issue anyway.
See, the titties make it hard for me to do that because
this is true.
It's like the wider chest, like the harder it is to have things like slide down.
That is so true.
Recently at work, we had this like situation where they ordered sweatshirts that did not work for us, and I tried on a 2X and I literally stood there like this, like waiting. I was like, help like, but it was like a 2X, so you're like, yo, no, that should have like.
Every fat bitch has had that moment in a dressing room where they were like, I miscalculated. Yeah. Not even every fat bitch. I just think like every person has had that moment. I mean, my partner who is mask presenting, you know, they had that moment and they like tried on these shorts and then they're calling me from the dressing room. They're like, hey. And I had to come in and like, because they pulled him up, try to get him over their thigh because they thought if they just got it up and over the thigh that they'd make it work. And I was like, you're going to rip the seam and you're going to have to buy these. You're going to spend $20 on garbage now.
Exactly.
We've all had that experience because sizing is not consistent. Sizing is not consistent.
No.
There's some brands, it's like, okay, I'm an extra large in their shirt. But in other brands, you have to get a 4XL. And I'm just like, this 100%. Is... There's a really funny comic, Matt Brown, okay? Little name drop. Hi, Matt.
So funny.
Where he's like, yeah, nothing is stopping you from just like putting some white out over that size. I'm just going to be any size I want. And I'm like, I love that kind of.
Amazing, actually.
Like, you remember that show, that reality show? I think it was Next. No, it was Room Raiders.
Oh my, yeah.
Where they could go, that, 100%. Where they could go in like the person's room before they even meet them, and so many of the guys would like be in a closet, be like, a size medium, no thanks, and you're like, what?
No, I watched the one that Jesse McCartney did where he went in and he like walked into this girl's room and she had Claire on her wall and he was like, Claire's kind of seems like a virgin. I think that I'm good. I'm going to pass. And I was like, I'm a virgin. He's never going to fall in love with me.
He's never going to fall in love with me. He doesn't want my beautiful soul. You know what? That song was misleading because he's like, I don't want another pretty face.
I don't want just anyone to hold.
I don't want
my love to go to waste. I just want you and your beautiful soul.
He's a liar.
He doesn't want his love to go to waste.
What? His love to go to waste?
His semen to go. I'm sorry. That's so terrible. I'm so sorry. PG-13? All right, cool. I'm sorry.
Nah, baby. We getting rated B for bitch. Sorry. So I think we've touched on a lot of cool things.
Yes.
Today we're on big topics. You know, I know we're going to laugh a lot here, but we're also going to have some real moments.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just want to thank Suze for being here with me.
Thank you for doing this podcast with me.
Yes.
I can't wait to talk about more fat shit with you.
I can't wait either.
Yeah.
And I can't wait until we can hear stories from other people, from all walks of life. Because this isn't just about being a big bitch. This is about owning and claiming the space that we have every right to be in.
You should tell the people who say that we're promoting being fat. What do we tell them? We're not.
That's cool. Keep commenting that because it'll boost engagement. I don't know. You know, the haters will make us money inevitably. I've talked about that a lot in therapy, actually. How to put the haters in a positive reframe. Anyway,
yeah, no, 100%.
Suze, what's your Instagram handle, babe?
Oh my God. Please follow me at Ballout Comedy. That's my Instagram.
And mine is more complicated. It's _ palm period faced. And
so punk rock.
So punk rock. It was because it was hacked. Anyway, thank you to Lincoln Launch for letting us talk about big bitch shit in their space. And we will see you next time.
We'll see ya.
Boop, boop. Big bitch energy.
Big bitch energy.